everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're diving into an absolute wonderland that you literally carry around with you every single second of the day, the human body. Now, the internet is absolutely full of wild claims about our biology, but today, we're going to strip away the fiction and look at some truly unreal, medically verified facts about the complex, brilliant machine that is you. We're talking hidden features, shocking super strengths, and some bizarre glitches that you probably never even knew existed. To kick things off, let me ask you something. Can a human heart beat outside the body? I mean, just think about it for a second. It sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? Well, the answer is actually yes. The human heart really can continue beating outside of the body. And that's because the heart has its very own internal pacemaker. This incredible feature allows it to keep beating completely independently from the brain, just as long as it still has a supply of oxygen. Just wrap your head around that for a moment. Okay, let's dive into this explainer and check out our roadmap. We're going to cover 1. Leftovers from ancient ancestors. 2. Your body's hidden super strength. 3. Beyond the 5 senses. 4. Bizarre and rare medical conditions. And 5. The ultimate biological machine. Starting with Chapter 1, Leftovers from ancient ancestors, the echoes of our evolutionary past. You know, you might not realize this, but your body is practically a walking, breathing museum of ancient history. We're carrying around these biological glitches and relics from millions of years ago. To really understand why, we've got to talk about vestigial traits. A vestigial feature is simply a physical trait that's a leftover from our ancient ancestors. Over millions of years of evolution, these traits stopped serving their original vital purpose, but they just never entirely disappeared from our biological blueprints. They're basically these fascinating little echoes of our evolutionary journey. So, the crucial point here is that we all have these leftovers. Actually, later on, I want you to go look in a mirror at the inside corner of your eye. You're going to see this small, fleshy, pink spot. That's called the plica semilunaris, and it is entirely vestigial. In humans, it's pretty much useless today. But in many other creatures on Earth, that exact same spot is a fully functional third eyelid. It literally sweeps across to clean and protect their eye between blinks. We essentially just have the broken, leftover machinery of a third eyelid sitting right there on our faces. And what about goosebumps? We've all gotten them when we're cold or spooked, right? Today, getting tiny little bumps on our arms doesn't really do a whole lot for us. But millions of years ago, when our ancestors were covered in way more hair, this vestigial reaction was a vital defense mechanism. Getting goosebumps physically raised the thick hair on their bodies. This acted as insulation to keep them warm, and incredibly, it actually puffed them up to make them look physically bigger to scare off impending predators. So you're literally feeling an ancient defense mechanism fire up every single time you get a chill. Moving right along to Chapter 2, your body's hidden super strength. You are definitely stronger than you think. We usually think of ourselves as pretty fragile compared to the rest of the animal kingdom, but let's look at how tough we really are. We always picture sharks as these ultimate apex predators of the ocean, right? Just terrifying, razor-sharp mouths. But when you look at the structural integrity on a microscopic level, human tooth enamel is actually just as hard as the enamel of shark teeth. Your mundane, everyday smile is armed with biological armor that completely rivals a great white shark. And speaking of your mouth, it actually happens to house your greatest hidden strength. If I asked you what the strongest muscle in your body was based on its weight, you'd probably guess something in your legs or your arms, right? But it's actually the masseter, the muscle right there in your jaw. When all the muscles of the jaw work together, they generate a massive amount of force. We're talking biting down with 55 pounds of force on your front incisors and a staggering 200 pounds of force on your molars. That is just an unbelievable amount of crushing power packed right into your cheeks. Okay, now I want you to hold up your hand and just give your pinky finger a wiggle for me. It seems like the absolutely most insignificant digit we have, doesn't it? Well, that tiny little pinky finger and its associated muscles are actually responsible for 50% of your hand's total grip strength. Yep. Half of your hand's physical power comes entirely from that little finger you barely even think about. On to Chapter 3, Beyond the 5 Senses, where we're unlocking your secret biological sensors. Get ready, because this is going to challenge absolutely everything you learned back in elementary school science class. We were all taught the classic 5 senses, right? Sight, taste, touch, sound, and smell. But do you really only have 5 senses? It turns out this is a total myth. Your biological sensors go far, far beyond just those 5.
See, your brain is constantly running these incredible background processes. Let's just define a few of these hidden senses. You have proprioception, which is your body's sense of where it is in space without having to look. Like, you know where your foot is even in a pitch black room. Equilibrioception is your sense of balance. Thermoception is your ability to determine temperature. Nociception is your specific ability to feel pain. And chronoception is how you biologically sense the passing of time. These are distinct, highly specialized senses working tirelessly for you every single day.
Let's zoom in on just one of those for a second. Equilibrioception, your sense of balance. It's this amazingly kinetic process happening right inside your head as we speak. Inside your ears, there are 3 small canals, and they're totally filled with liquid. Every single time you move, that liquid sloshes back and forth, back and forth. And as it moves, it bends these tiny little hair cells lining the canals. Your brain instantly reads the movement of those tiny hairs to tell you exactly how you're oriented in the world. So sloshing ear water is quite literally keeping you standing upright right now.
But get this, even the senses you think you know have secrets. Take taste, for instance. You can't actually see your taste buds. Those visible bumps all over your tongue are called lingual papillae. And while most of them do house taste buds, there's one specific type called the filiform papillae. These specific bumps do not taste food at all. Instead, they are completely dedicated to giving your tongue its very own sense of touch. Chapter 4, Bizarre and Rare Medical Conditions. What happens when the human system glitches? Since our bodies are these incredibly complex machines, they sometimes experience rare, fascinating, and honestly, sometimes terrifying glitches. Remember nociception, the sense of pain we just talked about? Well, there's an extremely rare condition called congenital insensitivity to pain, or CIP, where human beings literally do not experience the physical sensation of pain. Now, on paper, living a completely painless life sounds like an absolute blessing. But the reality, it's a really dangerous curse. Pain is our warning system. Without it, these individuals never know when their body is actually in harm's way. Imagine resting your hand on a hot stove and literally not feeling a thing while your skin burns. It's a stark reminder of why we absolutely need to feel physical pain.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how bizarre our immune responses can be when things go wrong. Aquagenic urticaria is a rare, incurable condition where a person develops hives rapidly after their skin comes into contact with water. Let me just repeat that, water. Regardless of the temperature, one of the most basic, life-giving substances on Earth triggers a severe immune reaction right on their skin. While there are treatments out there, it just goes to show how drastically the body's internal logic can glitch.
Okay, but if you want the absolute most visceral example of biology glitching, we have to talk about the teratoma, or dermoid cyst. This is a type of tumor, but it doesn't just grow into a lump of uniform cells. It can actually develop distinct types of human tissue. It can grow hair, it can grow muscle fibers, and sometimes, terrifyingly, it can even grow its very own teeth. It is essentially just a patch of rogue biology trying to construct body parts in completely the wrong place. If you ever needed a water cooler fact to thoroughly shock your coworkers, a tumor growing its own teeth is definitely the one. And finally, Chapter 5, the ultimate biological machine, looking at the high-performance stats of the human body. Let's take a second to just celebrate the sheer, unbelievable scale and the high-performance engineering going on inside you right now. Let's start with your stomach. The stomach acid inside of you is one of the most acidic substances in the world. It has a pH of just 1. It is so powerful that it can actually dissolve many metals. Yet, and this is the wild part, the enzymes in your stomach are completely incapable of digesting plastic. Swallow a piece, and it comes out exactly the same on the other side. But putting all that powerful acid to work requires massive energy. In fact, just the act of digesting your food accounts for 5 to 15% of all the calories you burn in a single day.
And then, of course, we have the absolute unsung hero of your anatomy, the liver. You might not think about it often, but it is working tirelessly for you. It produces bile and cholesterol, it cleans your blood, and it metabolizes toxins. In total, your liver is responsible for upwards of 500 individual functions. People spend so much money on these trendy juice cleanses, but the truth is, you don't need a juice cleanse to detoxify your body. You just need a liver. It does the whole shebang automatically, 24/7.
But if you want to truly grasp the massive scale of the human body, you have to look at your vascular system. Your blood vessels are weaving through every single inch of your anatomy to keep you alive. If you were to take every single blood vessel in an adult human body and lay them all out end to end, they would wrap all the way around the entire Earth, and not just once, not twice, 4 times. The sheer miles of biological tubing packed inside your skin is practically unfathomable.
Finally, I want to leave you with this totally mind-bending thought to take away from today's explainer. Your cells are constantly regenerating, right? Well, over the course of about 10 years, your body completely regenerates an entirely new skeleton. So I leave you with this question to ponder. If your physical structure is entirely replaced, are you even biologically the exact same person you were a decade ago? It's proof that the human body isn't just a static object. It's a continuously evolving, unbelievable machine. I really hope this sparked your curiosity and that you walk away today looking at your own unreal anatomy with a whole new sense of wonder.